Hey, what's up? What's up? It is Authentic Deb with the Monday morning puppy edition of the Authentic Deb Monday Motivation. And you can probably barely see Miss Gracie Lou here. And then we are packing. I don't know if you can, it's a mess, but we're actually making progress. What's up, everybody? I hope that you are in any part. Well, I hope you're safe all over the world, no matter where you are. But if you're in Houston or any of those other areas, Dallas, that are really being affected by the ice and snow right now, I just speak peace and blessings over you, a warm house. And she's going to make she showed there. And just blessings and safety. Be safe. You don't need to go outside. Yes, it's my little girl. Hi, precious. Oh, yeah. See, she's your precious. And then Dottie. This is the puppy edition. I almost forgot about it because it has been packing. But this little one, look at her. There's Gracie. She wanted to be held on mommy because Susan's working in the other room with her den door closed. I'm going to tell you something. We've known we were getting puppies, well, a puppy for 2 months, and we've known we were getting multiple puppies for about 3 weeks. Susan and I are pretty smart. Here, I gotta move so I'm looking at the camera. Do you think maybe we could have, now this is just a maybe, do you think that we maybe could have thought ahead of time and maybe actually ordered, a pop-up puppy doohickey, which is now ordered, but because of the ice won't get here for a while? Do you think we could have maybe been a little bit more proactive? But, given that we're moving very suddenly and all that, I'm going to give us a break. But if you could see the living room, oh my gosh, we're kind of using everything we can to block these dogs off because we don't have any puppy cage. And 2 is much more work than 1, I'm just going to say. We're still kind of keeping them from Gabby because Gabby's growling a little bit. She just doesn't really know what to do. And they like to pee on the puppy pad, but they've decided that pooping on the puppy pad is for sissies. So I've already stepped in some today. I don't know how they did it without me seeing. They also like to get up at 1:30 in the morning. And then they like to get up again around 3:30, but today they made it till 5. So I'm on puppy patrol this morning because Susan actually has to work and I have a day off. So I'm not sure what I will get done today. When they're sleeping like this, it's the time to get stuff done. I thought, it's good. They fell asleep. And now the little puppy decides that Mama Debbie's arm is much better than snuggling with her sister. Usually they will cry if they're not right next to each other. So this was kind of interesting that she felt, you can't even see the other one. I have a little puppy thing here and she's so cute. So this is Authentic Deb Puppy Edition. We've packed all our coffee cups, so my Authentic Deb cup is packed. We have a couple we left out that we probably won't keep. Everything else is packed. Most of the kitchen is packed. What I'm going to finish today is the living room, which you can see behind me. And then we've decided to just litter the living room with puppy pads. And because I like the corner, you know how they are. And just start to go room by room. Both of our cars, I'm sure, are completely frozen over in the driveway. And we're using kind of staging everything. I was having little mini meltdowns yesterday because I wouldn't call myself a neat freak by any sense, but I like a sense of peace and a sense of normalcy. And just for me, I don't know, anybody else out there? I mean, I'm not OCD, at least not diagnosably. I am not a neat freak, but I like things to a certain level. But yesterday morning, I'm melting down. I'm just Authentic Deb. Comment if you want, melting down, having a major meltdown. Poor Susan, she did say, I'm trying to find the comments so I can fix this. She did say for better or for worse when she married me. But I was just having a meltdown. It was too messy in here and it was so scattered I couldn't put my brain around what it is I wanted to do. So, but I will say this. I had a thought. It was a good thought. And when I don't usually always think of a theme, but this is what I know, is that, here's what I was going to say. There was a lot of thoughts yesterday about really my emotional state and how out of balance, even now, how like out of balance I feel a little. And part of it is because my spouse is leaving in 13 days now. And yeah, I'm going to see her again. And yeah, we got this house. And thank you, God, that we don't have to be apart for months, because we thought we were going to have to be apart for months. But the reality is she's still leaving. I'm still going to have a couple of weeks without her. And we don't like to spend more. We like to be together, so we don't like to be apart. Even if you're in a separate room, at least you know they're there, right? And there's a sense of this house has to be ready. And so we're both working. And how am I going to get it all ready? And what am I going to do after she leaves? This is just one dog. I do have 3 other dogs, 2 grown ones that need attention. Another little hot mess on the floor here, a beautiful hot mess named Dot. This is Gracie, the little black one you can't see, barely. And the thought was like, how am I going to do this? And then I thought, when did you get so old, Debbie, that you notice every time you bend? When did you get to where you felt like you couldn't do anything you set your mind to? Because I think that's where I am a little bit right now. The Authentic Deb broadcast is feeling authentically overwhelmed this morning. And you know you're overwhelmed when you start crying and you have no reason to cry. So that tells me that my emotions are just like on full-on emoting. Anybody else ever have that? Like, you are emotional and you're like, your conscious mind says everything is good. You have power. You're warm. You're loved. You have income. You have favorite work. Favor with your friends. But yet you're just like, just emoting. So I'm having a very emotive weekend. And I think that the what some people do, and what the temptation, that's the word. The temptation is to go back and drug it, antidepressants, whatever. And I'm not saying anything bad against any of those things. They totally have their place. But I was like, you know what? When I know what's going on, and I know that this will pass, and I know that I'm okay, and I know that I'm safe, and when I allow myself to say, you know what? You're a little overwhelmed right now. And you don't have to throw a drug at it, unless the doctor says, you can just feel it. And, she wants to say hi. You can just feel it. Sometimes, guys, and hear me right, if you've been diagnosed with something and the doctor says be on something, then that's between you and your doctor. And I was on something, he was weaning me off of it. Well, a couple of years ago, maybe 3, when I was going through really high anxiety, really menopause to the extreme. My work situation was I was so stressed out every minute. I'd smile, but I was so stressed out every minute of the job I literally hated. Not the people I work with, not even the job I was doing, just that situation was so inwardly toxic for me that I was just very depressed. And Susan and my friend Joe, they were like trying to do an intervention, like, you need to take time off from work. I guess this is where we're going today. You need to take FMLA. And if you guys aren't in the States, for the States, that's Family Medical Leave Act, which your doctor says you need a break. And you only get paid whatever vacation time you have, but your job is safe. They can't fire you. And I thought, no, I'm fine. And then one day I got to work and I wasn't fine. So I made an appointment with the doctor. I remember this. And in my mind, I'm thinking, how can I afford to be out? And I got to the doctor and the nurse is like, oh, what are you here for? And I'm like, oh, XYZ. And I'm just playing it cool, Deb, laughing. And she says, what are you here for? And I says, well, I'm really stressed at work. Menopause, got my family thinks I'm really stressed. Like, when your friends start to say you need to go on FMLA, that's when you know that your personality is probably changing in a way that you don't notice. And I think my friend Golly, she has, what is it, Golly? IBS. She's going to write a poop book, because there comes a time where you have to stop being part of the stigma. And it really kind of, like with your mental health, it's like I can either continue to struggle emotionally, anxiety, depression, all of those things that were menopause, which girls, menopause is, or I can deal with it. So when the nurse was there, I was all happy, joy. Oh, I'm just checking with the doctor. I'm kind of stressed out lately. That's what I told her. She leaves. She takes my blood pressure. She leaves. The minute my doctor comes in, who, is familiar with it, and like, she says, "What's up?" And I just started bawling. Like right now, I feel really emotional, but like in the office, it was just like, kind of like, I'm so stressed. I want to cry every minute of the day. It's like I go to work and I smile and I hold everything in. Probably everybody, if they don't know me really close, thinks I completely have it together. And I don't. And I just started crying, and she said, "Do you want to hurt yourself?" I'm like, "No." She said, "Do you want to hurt anybody else?" I said, "No." She says, "Okay." So we got that part down. She goes, "You need to be off work for at least 8 weeks." She goes, and it was just that quick. She said, "Do you want to hurt yourself?" And I would say the same thing to you if you're watching. Do you want to hurt yourself? If you want to hurt yourself, call the suicide prevention hotline right now. Call 911, call somewhere, call a friend. Do you want to hurt others? If you do, call a friend. So in total seriousness, if you're to the point where you want to hurt yourself because you hurt so bad emotionally, call someone. Don't isolate. So I really was blessed that my doctor said, "Do you want to hurt yourself?" I'm like, "No." It's like, I want the pain to stop, but I don't want to hurt myself. But I'm so thankful that she asked, "Do you want to hurt anybody else?" Basically, she wanted to see if I was going to walk into my old job and go the old frame, which isn't even a funny phrase anymore, but if I was going to go, no, I don't. And she said, "Okay, now let's deal with you." And, it was a really good, I could only be out of work for 6 weeks, just at the time. Didn't have the finances, but I realized that it took 4 weeks. This is 3 years ago. It took almost 3 years ago, 4 weeks watching every Netflix, everything. I couldn't really, it wasn't about, I took 4 weeks and I went in and became the greatest prayer warrior in the world. I just couldn't move. She said it would take that long to decompress. 4 weeks of nothing. I didn't try to clean the house. I didn't feel that time with doing something else. And it took 4 weeks for my brain to start to declutter, of thinking I had to go. I had to be BB. I had to be authentic Deb, authentically awesome, authentically amazing, authentically high performer. No, it was like 4 weeks of, you're a hot mess and you're going to sit on the couch and you're going to watch Netflix. That's all I did. I think I watched like everything. And it wasn't even until like week 5 that I went and visited a friend down in Llano, my friend Danny. And and then I went back to work at 6 weeks. And really, totally, you guys, it could have been 8 or 12 for sure. But all that to say this is that I'm not, and so with that, the doctor put me on Lexapro. I had never been on it before. I'd been on some antidepressants before when Ben was in high school and all of that, but wasn't on anything. And putting me on Lexapro and starting to understand anxiety made me realize that I probably in one shape or form have had and worked through anxiety all my life, and not really knowing what it was. But all of a sudden the palpitations in my chest and the feeling like I'm having a heart attack. And I would have those little mini feelings throughout the day. I was like, oh, you're not having a heart attack. It's not your gallbladder. You've already taken that out. This is how I started to learn how anxiety manifested in my body, and how, of course, Mrs. Overachiever here, how I have ignored it and soldiered through it for as long as I can remember, even back to my teenage years, for as long as I can remember. So there was this thing of, okay, you're diagnosed with anxiety. Oh, well, you've dealt with it all this time. So I had all these internal struggles about the stigma of the name and everything. And yet I knew that the Lexapro absolutely helped. It didn't make me a zombie. I just felt more level. And I really wasn't having a deep walk with God at that time. It was the perfect storm of disassociated from church and from family, from church relationships, really disassociated from God as I knew God. And resentment about things, resentment about work. I mean, Susan was great, but beyond that, I was really not in a good place in any other part of my life. And so I started to see how anxiety dealt. So I didn't have, what I'm saying is, as a Christian, I wasn't employing the tools that had carried me all my adult life: prayer, relationship with others, fellowship with God, intimacy with God, laughter, not taking things so seriously, having people near me and around me, filling my life with those things and having those intimate times with God. I wasn't doing any of that. So, and I realized that before I was. So long story short, we are now, new job, everything else. And so I finally talked to my doctor about a month ago. I said, this is before I knew we were moving. This is before I knew we were going to have 2 puppies instead of 1. I knew that Susan was being laid off. And I'm like, God, you've got us. So I said, you know what? I would like to be weaned off the Lexapro, because everything's coming back full circle in my life. And if you've ever dealt with any of this, let me know, or when you watch it, because I'm talking to a couple of people maybe right now that comment or like or say hello if you're watching, because it doesn't look like anybody else, but if you will later. So he said, okay, well, cut them in half and do XYZ. In about a month, we'll wean you off. And then if it's really not working, we'll just put you back on. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking, now that I know what I'm dealing with, now that I know that I've probably dealt with it all my life, now I know how my body responds, how I can tell when anxiety is creeping up, when I can tell the mental torment or this or that. I know how to combat it. And now that I'm walking with the Lord again, and I have church relationships again and family, I'm going to be better than before. Because for me, once I know what I'm dealing with, I'm like a dog with a bone, puppy edition. I'm pretty good about navigating my way through it. And so needless to say, last February, the first week in February, we're at the country house, and I had all the Lexapro all cut up into the little things, and take this pill and smaller and wean yourself down. Well, on February 4th, we came home. I got almost all the way home and realized that 30-day supply of different levels of Lexapro, I left in the kitchen counter at home in the country house. For one, it was 300 miles away. I wasn't about to turn around. And Susan said, well, you can just call the doctor when you get home and get another prescription and tell them what happened so you can wean yourself off. Because by this time, we did know that we were moving and everything. It was all brand new. And I was like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow came, and I thought, I don't need to do that. So I started looking up, what are the withdrawals of Lexapro? Okay, extreme emotion, sleeplessness, headache. I didn't have a headache. I had a lot of dry mouth, still do. So I'm thinking to myself, you guys, like, yes, it's valuable. Yes, taking things when you need it are valuable, but I got this, right? And I was doing pretty good. And I kind of noticed last weekend I was starting to get a little bit more emotional, like on day 5, because it was a hard stop. I didn't get to wean myself off, and should. And yet something in me is like, I'm not calling the doctor. when I looked up what the withdrawals were, I'm like, I can do this. Okay. Now, if I'd had a major migraine, I'm a wuss with physical pain, so I might have called the doctor. But all that to say, I didn't. So now we hear yesterday, February 14th, basically 13 nights of hard stop of no Lexapro. And yesterday, Valentine's Day, which has really nothing to do with love. Look up the history, you guys. But anyways, I digress. I just lost it like all morning. Poor Susan. Like, happy Valentine's Day. Woo! And let me give myself a break. We're moving unexpectedly. Yes, it's exciting. Yes, God has paved the way. But the reality is, this is a huge life change. We have 2 new puppies. There's a lot of uncertainty, but yet feeling like we're led. We have all the financials all these things to work out. Susan leaves February 24th without me. Thank you, Amber and Cheryl, for opening up your house. She has a place to stay. She starts work March 1st. This house doesn't close till March 8th. And then I have to put 4 dogs in a car and figure out how to drive almost 900 miles over the course of so many days with myself with 2 puppies. They're going to need to be, and it's a lot. Like, I can feel it right now. It's a lot. And so when I got up yesterday and the house was just like, looks way worse, looks much worse yesterday than it does right now. I was like, I can't do this. I don't know what to do. And Susan's like, oh, you need to go take the Lexapro. I'm like, no. So all that to say, I am still feeling really, okay. Physically, I may feel weepy and cry. Mentally, I feel I can do this. But like the other side of me is like, you can't do this. And I think, when did I lose over, is it just the Lexapro? Is it just the Lexapro down that I'm on, that all of a sudden I feel like, oh my gosh, this is too big for me? Because really, guys, the stage has never been too big for me. Because I'm always like this high-functioning person. The stage has never been too big because and I still know that God has me. So I guess I'm just giving you an emotional, authentic Deb. It's probably boring for some of you, but if any of you struggle with mental illness or with anxiety or bipolar or just depression or pain in your body, lupus, IBS, where I'm coming at it is, if you have something emotionally, physiologically, or physically that just is constant, you're going to have some emotional times, whether you're on medication or not. If you're on medication, keep doing what you're doing. I had never intended just to go off of it hard. It really was a mistake. And I was pretty stubborn not to just call the doctor and whatever. If I'd known that I was going to feel like this 14 days ago when I decided not to call the doctor and say I left my Lexapro in Arkansas, maybe I would have. But I am getting through this, and it is okay for me to be emotional. It is okay for me to be uncertain. And I guess it's okay for me to emote. Now, pray for me, because the concern is how, in my mind, I need to feel a whole lot stronger before February 24th. Because how I feel right now, guys, is like, I don't know how I'm going to be alone between February 24th and if I drive all by myself and I leave on the 8th and I have these dogs and it's a 14-hour drive without stopping and I've got 4 dogs, it's probably going to take me 3 or 4 days of just going really slow. So if I don't get to see Susan until March 9th or March 12th, between February 24th, honestly, feeling the way I feel right now, that doesn't feel doable. But I'm going to breathe and I'm going to pray. And today is not February 24th. Today is whatever it is, February 15th. So I've got some time to let God work and to sort through my emotions. And I think just allow myself to have emotions. So in this somewhat somber puppy edition, there's a puppy. Puppies help. But they can also help with the overwhelm because they're asleep right now. But they are cute and they are a mess. It took us over an hour to watch a 20-minute episode of WandaVision last night because we don't have puppy gates and they're just everywhere. But anyways, I would love to hear your comments about if anybody is struggling. And it doesn't have to be because you're moving. And if you struggle, if you're feeling alone, if you need to call a hotline, call. If you need me to pray for you, message me. The good thing is, even when I'm hurting, when I'm thinking about somebody else or talking about somebody else or somebody else needs something, I switch gears, which is such a blessing. And I get to be a blessing to somebody else. But mental health is a thing. And we need to just kill the stigma. It doesn't mean that you're any less. It just means you're dealing with stuff. Life happens, crap happens, anxiety happens. And if you have the debilitating physical things, because I have not debilitating physical things in the sense that I can't move, but you would never know that because of my neck issues and the plate and the screws I have in my neck and the completely crushed disc in my back, and now my hands are going numb all the time because it's just and the arthritis in my knees that could go on, but you wouldn't know that I am literally in pain at all times. And I want God to heal that. I want to be healed. Believe me, I do. And I have moments, but it is not, you wouldn't know it from looking at me. And see, that's the thing. How many of us are hurting and we don't know it because it doesn't show. We're not in a wheelchair or on crutches or something, but whether it's spiritually, physically, or emotionally, a lot of us hurt even between the laughter. And I want you to know that you're not alone. I am in physical pain every moment of the day. Sleeping is actually some of the worst. I can't sleep through the night. Just when I get up out of this chair after this thing, it's going to hurt. And I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. But I guess what I'm saying is all the other aspects you see of me, those are true. The strong one, the funny one, the one always willing to encourage everybody else. All of that is authentic Deb. But authentic Deb also hurts. She hurts physically right now. She hurts emotionally. I'm feeling it all. It's like it feels like another perfect storm, but I'm going to get through it, getting through it. And I just don't want anybody else to be alone. I know I'm not alone. So if you have gone 30 minutes and done all this, just know that you are not alone and be brave. If it's gotten to that point that you're going to hurt yourself, call someone. You're worth it. And if you're just in pain like me and you're just an emotional hot mess right now, we can joke about it. I'm a hot mess, but you don't have to do that alone either. Call somebody, call me, text me, do something, and just know that you're not alone. And there's it doesn't make you less than. I know that I'm amazing. Actually, I can say that even with tears running down my eyes. I know that I am smart. I'm funny. I'm creative. I could go on. I'm all of these things, but at the end of the day, I'm a daughter of God. I'm a daughter of my parents. I'm a sister. I'm a mom. I'm a mother. I'm a lover to Susan. I'm a friend to a lot. I'm obviously a dog mom at the moment, always. I'm all those things, and I don't have to try to be anything else. So if you've watched this long, bless you. I would love to hear your comments because I really think that vulnerability is needed in the body of Christ. Vulnerability is needed amongst, whether you don't associate that way, um, Democrat, Republican, black, gay, straight, white, trans, non-binary. It doesn't matter. If you are a human being, then you are worthy of love. And you are worthy of my love. Not my judgment about how you voted, not my judgment about what you do. I just think that as a species, and I'll leave with this, we need to love each other. You don't have to love everything about somebody, but you can love the fact that they're a created being in front of you. So could we just be nice? There's like, oh, hi, are you waking up? You waking up? See, oh, could you just be nice as a species? I don't know how I went from all this really serious thing to that, but just be nice. How's that? Be nice. Be nice to people. Love people. Be kind, because kindness goes a long way. And if nobody's being kind to you, then hit me up and I will be kind to you. And I'll say something stupid funny and make you laugh. So this is Authentic Deb signing off.